This is the Thought Leaders Podcast.
Thought Leaders actually spun out of an idea that I had when we were working on hacking UI. The core issue was that two things. One was that I didn't care so much if a publication, like a large, if the New York Times came out with a new article, they're coming out with hundreds of articles a day. That's not like super interesting for me. But what is interesting for me is if Tim Ferriss comes out with something, a new piece of content, and that might be on his podcast, or that might be on his blog, or through his newsletter, or through his YouTube channel. So I cared about Tim Ferriss as thought leader, and I wanted to catch all the content that he was producing. Really what I cared about was the people that were producing. So that was the first thing. And this was really important. We were creating that newsletter for Hacking UI. We wanted to round up links and resources each week, new stuff. And we wanted to get things that no one else had, that no one else saw. We didn't want to share the obvious stuff. We wanted to share things that would be really useful and people hadn't already seen. So a great way of doing that was by following these thought leaders that we cared about and seeing whenever they were producing new stuff immediately. So the first version of Thought Leaders, I built scraping tons of content from all different sources and kind of aggregating it into a way to show, to create an entity of a thought leader, and showing everything that was produced, no matter the source, by a specific person. The second thing that kind of led to Thought Leaders as a business was with Hacking UI, we weren't super happy with the monetization options that were out there for publishing content. And I think that problem was really came to light because we were talking about about creating good user experience. That's what the whole, the subject of Hacking UI was about. So the monetization options that were available, the easy ones at least, were mostly around programmatic advertising, banner ads, putting some script on your site, things that were interrupting the user experience and creating a bad user experience. And that felt super hypocritical to do that on our own site when the whole point of the content we were creating was about how to create a good user experience. And then in the middle of that article, we were telling you how to create a good user experience. There's an annoying banner ad that takes you away and tries to get you to click out of the website. It doesn't make sense. So what we did to make money was we actually went to brands directly to sell and sold sponsorships to them within our content. We only worked with products and services that we liked ourselves, that made sense for our audience. And when we worked with someone, even though it was a sponsorship, it was definitely paid, obviously disclosed, but we were able to actually endorse that product or that brand because we actually liked them. We were using them ourselves most of the time. So those two ideas kind of came together, and that's how Thought Leaders was born. We wanted to basically support people that were creating good content, thought leaders, and give them a way to monetize that wasn't going to ruin their trust with the audience that they worked so hard to build.